Hello, I am Sophie and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new to this channel, welcome on board. And for my old subscribers, thank you for sticking with me. So today we are going to talk about 5 reasons to move back to Uganda or Africa, in any other African country. But since I'm from Uganda, we are going to talk about 5 reasons to move back to Uganda from Europe, from the US. There's a video that I made that says 5 reasons to move to Luxembourg. And I felt like I gave you the 5 reasons to move to Luxembourg. So today I felt like I should, also give 5 reasons to move to Uganda, because trust me, there are people who would like to move back to Uganda. You could have come maybe to Europe and you realize that it's not for you. So there are so many reasons that you could actually decide to go back to Uganda or any other part of Africa. But today let's talk about Uganda. So the first being the weather. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what kind of comparison I can give, because I think Uganda has the perfect weather, or I could say East Africa to be exact, because even other parts of Africa, the weather is not as good as it is in Uganda. I'm not just saying this because it's my country, but I've had so many people, compare the weathers, and they say that the East African weather is a bit different from the West African weather and North Africa or whatever, but the East African weather is just nothing. I can't even compare it to anything. So that would be one of my biggest reasons that could make me decide to go back to Uganda, because in Uganda we have only 2 seasons. We have the rainy season and then the dry season, but the rainy season is not as cold and dreadful as it is in Europe. I mean, it rains, yes, but you can't compare it to the weather here. So the weather would be one of my biggest reasons that would make me decide to go back to Africa. So if you are the kind of person who wants that chill weather, sunshine all year round, then Uganda is. Another reason that could make you actually decide to move back to Uganda is the food. Uganda is a very diverse country. And there's a lot of authentic food. I mean, Uganda is divided into 4 regions. We have the northern region, we have the western region, we have the eastern region, and then the central. That's where the capital city is, Kampala. But I come from the northern region, so basically I'll be, of course, talking about the northern region and whatever. So all those four regions have their own food, their own staple food. So if you come from the north, we have the malakwangs, we have the bo, we have the dekngo, we have all types of different foods there. So if you come from Western Uganda, they also have their own foods. If you're in the center of the capital city, it's because it's mostly filled with lots of the Bantu, the Baganda speaking people. So you find the matokes, the green bananas, and then the other things that are there. So there's lots of diverse food. You won't just have food from one particular. When you talk about Uganda, you don't just talk about one type of food. No. There's lots of food. So trust me, that is one thing that I crave. Like when I think about the food back home, I'm like, oh God, you can't compare it. Here, everything is there's a lot of artificial stuff that is going on with the food industry. So it's you cannot compare it to back home. Everything is still very organic, like straight from the garden to your plate. It's just so good. So I miss the Ugandan food. Communal lifestyle, in Africa, I would say, I think it's not only in Uganda, I think it's all over Africa. The lifestyle is more of communal than individualistic. Here, life is too individualistic, like everyone is about themselves. It's about the me, and I. But in Uganda, it's about the we, like we here, we there, we there. It's a communal thing. Like when they say raising a child is done by the community, it's like it's literally the community will be raising the child. So you're not alone. It's about the communal aspects. We love being together. The togetherness, not like the way it is in Europe. I'm telling you, here in Europe, if you do not have family, trust me, you will die alone. No one will even know that you exist. You could be in your apartment and you're going through something. Your neighbors will not even know. You'll be alone and you struggle with your loneliness and you die there. No one will even be bothered. But that is completely different. For example, in Uganda, my neighbor knows my business. Like they know. If they don't see me, let's say, 1 or 2 days they're not seeing me around, they'll be like, what's happening with this person? Is something wrong? Like they'll check in, Like there is that kind of like people kind of like care for one another. I think I would say that, which is a bit different from the lifestyle here. It's completely about individualistic. So that is something that I also miss a lot. That is back home. That life in Uganda, for example, in Kampala, is quite affordable as in comparison to here. Because, for example, let's talk about the fact that, let's say we happen to get a blackout in Europe for like a week. A week, I think even a week is just too long. Let's talk about just one day. Do you know how many things will go to a standstill? Like, for example, cooking will go to a standstill. What all the basic things that happen here, the basic needs that you need, everything here will go to a standstill. But in Africa, we can survive without electricity. I mean, when you go deep in the villages in Africa, for example, in Uganda, deep in the village, my relatives, they do not even mind electricity. No one even bothers about electricity. But life will go on. People will still cook food. People will still go about their business, and life will continue. But here, trust me, life will go to a standstill. So here, things are a bit, because you need like things like electricity to manage your life. It becomes very, very expensive, It's quite very expensive, so you can't actually be able to afford so many things. For example, even housing can be quite expensive in Europe as in comparison to for example, in Uganda, anyone can build, anyone can own property. As long as you work hard, you make some money, you can actually own land. But here in Europe, for you to own land, oh my goodness, it's like I think you have to be the president or something. It's not that easy. It's really, really very complicated. And then everything, of course, it's a mortgage. You need a mortgage to just buy a small piece of apartment. It's completely different. Like, it's very expensive. So you really have to be working 24/7 without breathing in order to make some kind of life for yourself, which is completely different from what we have in Uganda. So I miss that, that flexibility, that freedom is not that is in Uganda is not here. Cultural values, like for me, we starting my family. I would like to raise my children in the African culture, with the African cultural values, which are lacking here. It's completely different. There's a lot of things that are happening here that in Africa is not heard of, So there's some of those basic cultural values that I'd like my child to grow up with and that are lacking here. So if I had the opportunity to go back home, I think that would be one of the reasons that I would actually think of going back home. And then to the last one, it's not a reason, but I just want to make a statement that Uganda, to be exact, is one of the happiest is one of the happiest country in East Africa. People in Uganda are just so relaxed. Like, there is that real laissez-faire kind of attitude, People are not so much into this stressful life whereby I feel like in Europe, everything is just so tick, 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 like, chop, 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 chop. This is, people are running here, you're going here. Like, life is just so busy. There's no time to just, stand still and like breathe in. It's just not heard of. But in Uganda, there's that, laissez-faire kind of attitude. Not that we are lazy. We're not lazy. If it's time for work, yes, we work. But time to also just, take a break. We take the break and enjoy it, And then we have this atmosphere receiving. We are so receptive to all types of people. I mean, you can come from, I don't know, any part of Europe, you go to Uganda, you will be received with these open arms, which is completely different from here. Here, it's completely quite different. You know what I'm talking about. It's not the same. Like that, the hospitality that we Ugandans give to tourists, It's really, really, really beautiful. So, but we don't get it here. You know, when you come to Europe, you will not get that kind of reception. So, and I must say that, yes, in Africa or Uganda, it's one of the happiest countries. So, if you're ever thinking about going to Africa, Uganda should be on your, on your list. So anyway, those are some of the reasons that I would, 5 reasons I would consider to move back to Uganda. So I hope you can use these reasons to consider if you're somewhere in Europe, in the US, or you're thinking about maybe I could go back home or whatever. So those are some of the reasons that I think that would actually make us go back home. So thank you for watching. And for those who have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and share with all your friends. Thank you for watching. Bye. See you next time.